Can you hear me now? Okay, so I'm going to turn up the music a little bit, and I have a feeling you can probably hear me talking now. I had tried to change microphones to try to use a different one so I didn't have to wear a stupid headset, but guess what? It didn't work. I'm not sure why, and I will figure that one out later. So now back to your regularly scheduled live stream. What I was planning on doing a few days ago, I finished up on a card and decided I wanted to play with watercolors, and I was wanting to play with some stencils, and decided to see if it was possible to watercolor through a stencil. And this is one of the ones that came out from that. This one is on watercolor paper, and it's using, I don't even know what stencil it is that I used on that one. I have no idea where it came from. That was this stencil, but this stencil does not have a name on it, so I have no idea who supplied that one. But it's kind of a mandala, and I thought that that was so pretty. And then I decided, okay, let's see how it does on just plain heavy-duty cardstock. So this is some of my Michael's Recollections heavyweight cardstock, and because I didn't use a lot of water, it turned out great. And you can tell I use those pearlescent watercolors that I like to use so much. So what I thought we would do today is, if you have some stencils, if you have some watercolor paper, or if you have just some regular paper, just don't use a lot of water on it, let's go ahead and play with some watercoloring through some stencils. I think this is going to be really fun. Excuse me. Sorry about that. I do really like the way that these turned out, and I've got something else I can play with, you know what I mean? And thank you again for being so patient with me on this. I mean, we're already 10 minutes in and haven't gotten to start on anything. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is grab some watercolor paper that I did have around here somewhere. I'm going to go ahead and do this first one on some watercolor paper. And I did... the key to being able to watercolor through a stencil is using some kind of stencil adhesive like pixie spray. I don't have pixie spray, and I was impatient at the time that I got this, so I ran over to Hobby Lobby, this is probably a year or so ago, and picked up this Repositionable spray adhesive. And I just sprayed the back of it, and it holds it in place enough so that you don't have, it's less likely that the water is going to go under the, yes, Elizabeth, I can see that you probably do need to do that after you sent me that lovely, lovely card. I appreciate that, and that was just so sweet. Some of my aren't going over into StreamYard like I was. I can put screen. I mean, come on, I don't know what's going on. Taking so long. So I do want to go ahead and give a shout out to all of you guys. I really do appreciate that you're here for me. I've got TR and Patricia and Elizabeth and Maylin and Wendy. Wendy, I believe you're all the way in, I think you're in Norwegian. You're Norwegian or something. I'm trying to remember because I know I've seen you on some of my premieres and stuff. So I do really appreciate all of you guys dropping in to see me. So thank you again so much. What I went ahead, before coming on with you guys, I went ahead and sprayed some more stencils, including this one is from, I don't know who that company is. Anyway, this one is a hearts. I've got a heart stencil, and then I've got a dot stencil. And I think I'm going to go ahead and do the hearts because, you know, Valentine's Day is coming up in about a month. So we're going to have a lot of those kind of projects coming up. And so I'm using the silicone mat just because I want everything to stay in place, because sometimes that's right. Thank you, Wendy. You are from the Netherlands. I knew I remembered. And I've already got it sprayed on. And you can tell it's staying. it's staying on there. So that works out good. And I think I'm going to go ahead for this one and use the Pearlescent set that I've got from Mike. I have not added water to anything. Let me grab a couple of brushes. And I'll go ahead and add some water. Since this is for Valentine's Day, I think I'm going to stick with things that have got red in them. Reds, pinks, orange, purple. All of those I think would work good for them. And I think I'm going to go kind of with a gradient pink. I'm going to start off with the pink. And I would decide to go ahead and just use one of the large brushes that I just got. I mean, I told you guys that I just picked these up at Michael's to kind of do an upgrade. It's not an I don't want to put a lot of water on the paper because then it just takes forever to dry, but some on. And what's neat is all these little places where it kind of pools along the edge, those dry, give it a little bit of a ridge and give it, it's got a really neat texture. It almost draws a line around the image. That is just so pretty. Got some of that there. And I think I'm going to go with some... Of course, starting with a pink means I need to either go into the orange realm or the purple realm. I think I'm going to just put some more of that pink on. It's going to be a real simple one. I just cover the whole thing in pink and then go back in when it's dry with some other... Honest, I think that this looks really neat the way it pulls around the edge stencil wells. I have to try this with the regular instead of the pearlescent to see if it does kind of the same. And I'm not going to take the stencil off until after this has pretty much dried, because if I do, it's just going to go into the other areas instead of staying inside those wells like that. Let's put that one to the side to it. Okay, so next, let me grab another piece of watercolor paper. The watercolor that I'm using is one of the Artist Loft's ones, and I think it's only about like $6 now. It's the same as those other pastel ones. This is the set I've got from the Fundamental set from Artist Loft, and then this is the swatch that I did for the Artist Loft Fundamentals Pearls. So Pearlescent. So this is, they've all got basically a pearlescent sheen to them, and I think that is really, really pretty. And it only cost me like, I think it's $5.99 on the site now, which means I think they have a 20% off coupon. Kind of sucks they're not really doing many of the 40 and 50% off like they used to at Michael's. But even with 20% off at Michael's, it's really not a bad idea. And it's good to play with to start off with. I figure I will upgrade at some point, but that's not going to be today. I do have another stencil that is all hearts, and this one I did have a name for, if I can think. This one is from Ranger. It's a Ranger's Dilution, and it's Heart's Edge. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of go a little bit off the edge. And then take some masking tape and tape off this white part here, so I'll leave that one as kind of a straight edge. Yeah, just to make sure that none go over there. I think that's going to be kind of cool, and I can most likely make 2 cards out of this. That piece of watercolor paper is so big. And just putting that down, I can tell that I've got my stencil crooked. What's crooked? So I know that this is a different music than what I've been using the last few weeks, so tell me, is it too loud? Is it too soft? I did turn it up and I did adjust it a couple of times because you guys were having trouble hearing me and didn't know what the problem. But I'll be happy to adjust it again if I need to. So I think I'm going to start with pink in the center. This brush still has some pink on it. Some more though. Because I had so much water on the brush because I should have just dried it off a little bit and forgot to. And looks like I did not. I usually have a roll of paper towels sitting at my desk, and it must have gotten moved at some point. Just have to be more quite so much. There, and next I'm gonna go over. I think I'm gonna go with some blue up at the top and then blend into a purple color. I'll bring up some of that. Same kind of thing down here at the bottom, and some could go with yellow, but I don't solid. And this would look a lot better if I had cleaned my brush off, but I didn't, because of course I had to bring paper towels. Didn't know I have any. This is kind of a rainbow looking piece, but you can put in as many colors as you want. I'm gonna go in with a different brush. Try to go a little bit solid. Okay, and can you guys help out Maylin? She says that she's having trouble hearing me, that I'm fading in and out. Let me know. Are you guys having trouble with that too? This live stream for some sound, I'm not doing that well. I'm sorry about the technological issues. I thought I had everything set up. I've actually been working on things on here today, and I did not know that the sound was not going to work when I hooked up my other mic. Then having it mess up even more and not want to let me use the mic that I'm wanting to use now. I've been using this time. Darker, just slightly different sides with that blue and with see how slight. I think that gives it just enough of a blend. It's gonna be. Let's see how this other one's doing. The other one is still pretty wet, but get my heat gun on and hit that so it helps finish that drying up. because it pretty much did stay, for the most part, in those heart-shaped wells. I think this is just so nice. And I don't really want to hit the... You could hit the panel with your heat gun with the stencil on there, but I'm afraid that I'm going to start melting it. And since I don't really know who created some of these, I mean, I have no idea where they came from. I may have made some of them myself, but I don't think I did. You know, you never know. But some stencil material is going to be better than others, and some is going to melt more because they are plastic, so who knows? I mean, you guys saw me start melting some of my masks that I've got made out of contact paper. Now this is nice. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and turn the music down a little bit. So just that. And can you hear me now? I've actually got the volume on my microphone turned up all the way, so this is how I've been doing this one. I think it's just that the music may have been too loud. So here is that first panel. I think that would look really nice on some black cardstock. I may try that in a... But this is going to be real nice as a background. This guy out of the way and let it dry a little bit. And actually, I'm going to run and get paper towels. I can't do this. And of course, I found my roll. It's mostly gone. So at least I'm going to be able to get a little bit more done. Stencil off some. It's got so much pink still on these. From what I understand though, and I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I cheat. I watch YouTube to see how to do different things that I think would be cool. And the video that I found was from Miss Christina Werner. And she said that when she did this, she washed the stencils after using pixie spray on there, and it held up after that. I mean, that's kind of incredible that it was able to be used a second time after that. Now this one is cherry blossoms, and I'm not enough of that spray adhesive on there, but I think I'm gonna give it a try anyway. This time I'm gonna be a little bit more specific with my coloring, because you can use as little or as much water as you want to when you're adding these. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the flowers in flower colors. I think I'm going to either go with pink or orange, and then I can do the stem with some greens. But I think I'm going to combine my two sets. So for the stem, I'm going to use the regular fundamentals, which is a matte finish. You can tell from here it's all matte. And then for the flowers, I'll use some of these that are the pearlescent. See how that does. And I think I'm going to start off with this. No, change my mind. It's that one. I want to use green. Some of the, and I may go back in once the first layer is dry and do some shading on it. So I'm just going to apply some of the paint in cells that I want to. Let's get the stems. You can tell which things are supposed to be stems. Stems. I'm going to get one of the Pearlescents. So these colors want back so light. I want this one is a little bit darker of a pink than before. some more. I have to admit that the first time that I did this, I was a lot more picky about where I put any paint down because I was afraid I was going to mess up. But this is very, very forgiving. You've got, as long as you've got enough adhesive spray on there to hold everything in place and hold it on, it's going to turn out fine. And I like that kind of, I like the way that the dried one has got all the different intensities, I guess is the word. Colors, it just looks so So I haven't asked yet, but did you guys have a great Christmas and you get all of the crafty goodness from Santa that you this is Strathmore watercolor paper. And it's basically where I didn't go with the cheapest thing I found at Michael's, but Joann's. It was whoever I found that had it on sale when I got the last batch. And that's one reason I have been bad. I have had watercolor paper in my stash for probably 2 years and then not used it. So what I've been trying to do this year with not shopping and that sort of thing is I'm trying to use all the different things that I've got in my stash that I haven't played with and learned how to get better at. Right now I'm focusing a little bit on watercolor and pencils and such, but I've got a bunch of other stuff that I want to play with too. I told you I was wanting to do some watercoloring and some stencils, so I've done two. I did another card. I've got a card going up on New Year's Eve. That was one that I did with stencils and foils, so you guys can come back and see that one. But I wanted to play with my stencils and I forgot where I put them, and then I just found them. So I am so excited with that. So this one, I think I'm going to let it go ahead and dry. I might go back in with some of a darker green for the branches, but I'm not positive that I need to, because you see how it's doing? It's welling up right along the edge, so it's already creating a bit of dimension there. Awesome, Mary. Congratulations. Miss Mary got a vagabond. So let's take a look at that one we just did with all of the hearts. And it's mostly dry. Yes, I'm being very careful because I don't want to rip anything, and I like to be able to use these. Let's see how it looks. I think that turned out pretty nice. I do need to go in and dry the places that has got like heavy that I did real heavy with that watercolor. And it looks like I just smudged it with some blue, but that's okay. So the only parts it looks like didn't dry in that little bit of time, I do have, and it's basically where there were some extra wells of that color. So we've got the blue that's all dry, a little bit of orange that's still got a bit of moisture there. And we've got this part in the middle. I'm drying it from the bottom because it was already starting to curl up on me while I was drying it. And that's one of the downsides to drying your watercolor paper, not letting it, you know, just air dry. But I'm impatient. Actually, this I don't know if that one's quite long enough, but that would probably be good for slim line. Now this one is over 7 inches long, so this would do good for the front of a slimline card. Yeah, I haven't tried the Inktense pencils yet. Like I said, I've got a bunch of stuff I'm trying to use, and I bought all this cheap stuff to start off with. Because I figure I don't want to waste a lot of money on stuff that I may not want to use, and that's what I was thinking 2 years ago. Doing all this. That's so pretty. That's gonna make a nice. That would actually be kind of cool on the back of a shaker. I've got some ideas coming up. Okay, that one out of the way. So, oh yes, I want this one. Now this is a stencil that I really like. It's really good. It's a sunburst. I mean, it's a, yeah, something like that. But I made a card last year using this stencil, and if I can figure out who made each one, I will definitely share that in the description down below. Off the top of my head right now, though, I don't really place it on there and get slightly on the inside so I can use as much of this space as down here below it, and how you have a perfect area for a sentiment. Okay, you guys know what I'm going to do with this one. This one, because it is a sun, I'm going to be starting with lighter colors down here and moving my way up to the darker. Start off with trying this brush that's been sitting in the water. I think I'm going to start off with that and go back in some of Pearlescent in it. Starting off with this yellow, this set does have a lot of nice little colors. I mean, it's not all the same. This one is like white, and then you've got 3 different yellows, and this one just happens to be the darkest yellow. And when you do a swatch out, you can kind of tell what they're going to look like basically at full strength. So I'm down here, way up to those crevices at the Of course, I've already got making a mess down there. Some of it. I also took some of the water off of the brush and got some of the yellow off. So next I'm going to go in with dark orange. Brush water. Well, that didn't work. Trying to do a blend, but of course I picked up some of the orange, and that of course came back down to yellow, which I wanted to do. I do like how it's starting to blend there. Hi Carmen, thanks for dropping in, honey. interested to see how this is going to. So I'm going to go ahead and get some, I think I'm going to get this lighter purple, kind of a mauve or magenta color. Come in from the top a little bit. And I'm going to go back and do what I did with, well, what I did with the yellow, I'm going to do. Just grab some of the orange color and just bring it up into that. I think I'm going to have to go back down. Below is. Should have started at the top and. I'm gonna. Interesting to see. I'm gonna thank you guys again because with you guys here, I am experimenting more than normal. Challenging me to find something else to share with you. So thank you guys for coming in to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and move this one hopefully out of the way so it won't spill. So let's go ahead and take a look and see how our little cherry blossoms are. Most of it looks like it's dry, but it looks like we have couple of pooling areas on some of the flowers. Oh, but that looks so pretty. And what I'm probably going to do is I'm probably going to go in later after this is completely dry and add some more flowers to this panel. I think that would be really pretty. Some of the excess off of this, and then I can and it does look kind of interesting with the matte finish on the branches here and then the pearlescent shine on the flowers. Thank you, Carmen. So what we're doing, you can already tell I'm watercoloring through a stencil, and the way we're able to do that is by using a stencil adhesive on the back of the stencil. I don't have pixie spray, so the one that I'm using is just one that I picked up at Hobby Lobby a couple of years ago. But it seems to be working pretty good. I'm not having a lot of bleeding under the stencils. So I really like this technique. And I've got a lot of stencils, and to be honest, I think I've only used maybe 3 or 4 of them on an actual project. I have not done much with them at all, but I just had this idea. I mean, I did oiling through one, and that's going to be the video that I've got coming up New Year's Eve. And then I've done texture paste, of course, through them, and I haven't done that in a while. But and that's just this is one that I've never used on anything. I went ahead not too long ago and took all of my stencils and kind of did a swatch with all of my stencils just to see, you know, what would they look like with color. And I thought, oh my God, I didn't realize I had something so pretty. And this is one of the ones I have never used before, but I did a swatch to go in it, and I have no idea where I got the thing from. But this turned out so pretty just with, you know, doing a little bit of ink blending through it. It's like, you know, I gotta try it with this watercolor thing. Try. A couple more places that are still a little, yeah, but not too bad. Okay. And you guys want me to do another or start putting a couple of these things into cards? Let's see, what else do I have? Also got a polka dot one. Do another one with that kitty. I really like the kitties. These. Maybe I can't because I put it. You mean the plastic stencils or the stencil, stencil colored paper? I'm assuming you're talking about the paper. Okay, so I'll go ahead and start assembling some of these into cards. Let me get paints out of the way. And the paints that I'm using are just cheap paint sets that I've got from Michaels. These are Artist Loft Fundamentals and Artist's Loft Fundamentals Pearlescent. Those are the ones I've been using lately. Got a couple of other things that I'm going to try out probably in the next few weeks, but I'd rather get a little bit more experience, I guess, with what I've got. Okay, so that one I'm not sure what to do. This one is going to make a really pretty card. Okay, give me just a sec. I'm going to go grab a couple of card pieces or some cardstock to make some. I will be right back. Okay, so same old A2 size card base, which is just half of an 8.5 by 11 cardstock, scored in the middle at 1/4. Turn it over and then fold it so that that crease you just created is side. And I usually, I'm going to show you how this winds up working with mine, because somebody mentioned it before. I'm going ahead and burnishing it right where I scored, and then it leaves this little ridge there because the paper is actually slightly more than 8.5. So that just means that you cut it back down a little bit. Or you can go ahead and fold it exactly in half, but then your card's going to be slightly more than 4.25. Either way works though. And I do recommend using heavyweight cardstock for your bases. I don't know about you guys, but I like the feel of a heavier card. And what's funny is I don't think I would have noticed that if I had... Oh, I see what you're talking about. Just use that's a different technique for you doing a stencil. Absolutely. You can do that same thing with the rubber mat, even using a die to get an impression from the dies on the paper too. So there's a lot of different things that you can do with them. What's funny is that most of the tools that we've got, most of our supplies can be used in multiple ways, and we don't even think about it half the time. So got plans. I don't know with time how much I'm going to get done, but I do have plans to add some more things to my blog and to the Facebook group, Crafting with Debbie, that a lot of you guys are a member of, that are going to be hopefully better resources for you guys. Today I just added a few things on the Crafting with Debbie Facebook group that are basically just, you know, an intro, you know, welcome to the group kind of thing, and then a place that if you have, if any of you guys have got YouTube channels or blogs and you want to share any of your information and such on my blog, I'll be on our website, on our Facebook group. I put a place there where you can add your links. And that makes it kind of, it'll make it a kind of a central location so that folks can find it. So, ooh, I like it that direction. I think this way. First, I'm going to trim off some so I've got the branches basically hanging off the edge. Okay. To be just a little off there too. Got our first two. And this card is 5.5 by 4 1/4. So if it's down to about 5 1/4. Then there's plenty of room here for a sentiment. And this could be for any kind of... Grab my foam tape, which I have to order more foam tape because I am about out. This will probably last me maybe a month. Okay, for my card bases, TR, I'm using heavyweight cardstock from Michaels. Have not decided if I'm going to change to a different one. I've got some additional papers and cardstock that I've recently gotten in that I'm trying out to see what works best for what purpose, and what's most cost effective for this as well. The Michaels brand is 110 pound, 300 GSM, and I typically get it. First off, Michaels is like 3 miles from my house, and I typically get my cardstock from them when I can use a 50% off or 40% off coupon, or they have it on. So that's why I'm saying I'm a little disappointed that they are changing their coupons, because I've been seeing since the pandemic started that they stopped doing as many 40% off. There was always a 40% off on their website, always. And now they've been reducing that down to 20% off most of the time. Like I went on there today, or yesterday. I went on there yesterday, and their their discount is a 20% off one item. And supplies are expensive enough that if I can get them cheaper than that, I'm going to. What I need to do is I need to check out Joann's and see if they're doing the same thing, because I have a feeling that they are, and that one of the reasons why they've been, you know, such good discounts, because they're competing with one another. I've got a Joann's and a Michaels within about 5 minutes from my house. Hobby Lobby isn't too far away, but I'm still irritated with them for the way that they treated their employees during the pandemic. They didn't close. They counted people shopping for craft supplies as being an essential worker. So they didn't let their people leave. And that, I'm sorry, that's just not right. They usually don't have enough people working anyway. The lines when you're checking out are always long. And they usually only have one person, you know, one checkout line, at least at my store. And that's just very irritating to me. Look, go ahead and add a sentiment there. Actually, I need to change this a bit first. This one is one of the ones that I needed to trim down, meaning I should have put it on the opposite side. Let's see if this stuff is stuck too much. If it is, I can just put it on a different card. Isn't that fun? But this may actually work just fine too. So the tape basically stuck on the wrong part. So what I'm going to do, scissors, I'm going to trim this excess piece off. Get this. It's gonna stick to that finger guard. Sucks. Okay. Then I can position this back on there. I'm gonna do the smart way, fight with it. Adding a little bit of liquid adhesive to the back of foam strips or double-sided adhesive makes it so that you can wiggle them around a little bit. Just enough to make sure that you can get them straight. Ah, TR, you are too funny. I am a pro. I'm not a pro. I'm just playing. Thank you so much for the kudos. Still having trouble getting that straight. Deal. Okay, I'm gonna just do it like that and say it's done. Yes, you are, Elizabeth does have a really good point. I have seen this, and I'm going to pop up her comment in just a second as soon as StreamYard catches up. But she is absolutely right. They only let one coupon supposedly per order. But what I have done is I've done multiple orders and gone to pick them up and then bought another one in the store. So with each order, I was able to use the coupon again. This just basically means that I've been able to do like I've only needed to do 3 packs of paper to be honest. And that was because, you know, like I'm out and I know I'm going to use it because Christmas, Halloween, whatever is right around the corner and I need my card bases. So I have done that before. And I was surprised that they would allow me to actually do that. But I think it was at least 6 to 8 months ago that I did that. Where I ordered it online, decided after that, you know, I think I actually need a second one and just placed a second order because they won't let you change your order. And then went into the store and went ahead and bought something else and used a coupon as well. So they won't let you use more than one coupon on a specific order. I have had Joann's where they used to. I don't know if they still do, but they used to let you use multiples. At Michael's, I think I was able to use more than one at one point a couple of years ago, and then they stopped allowing it. And now they're reducing. That just means that if you guys want, I will post over in the group, you know, when the next time I see that they've got a really good sale on. I haven't seen a good sale in a little while. I mean, supposedly they've got 70% off of a lot of their Christmas stuff right now, but it's like, okay, I have too much Christmas products. I got too many Christmas supplies as it is. I mean, I already told you guys, it was really, really, really hard to do that. Oh, and Elizabeth just shared this too. That's how she got her Spectrum Noir markers. 6 different orders for pickup. I got most of mine from a company that's no longer there. Litzy, I think it was. I got all this stuff online, including most of my markers and lots of stamps and lots of dies. I mean, I've got a bunch of different Puddlebug embossing folders and stuff that I got, I guess, on clearance right before they closed. And yeah, I'd love to be able to get some replacement stuff from them, but they closed like over a year ago. Okay, so we've got 1 card done. I think I'm going to go ahead and do this. This is just a background. I'm not sure how I'm going to do the front yet, but that is pretty much the right size already. So I'll cut that one down to... And yes, I'm going to be using foam adhesive on the back of all of these to make them hold better. Okay, Tiara, how was their sale? If they did the 70% off, I'm just wondering, was it worth going? Go ahead and trim the white off the side. How much more? So, this one. If I want it to be exactly centered, I am going to have 1.25 inches off of each side. Because it's the hard base is 5.5 and this is down at 4.25. Oh, I take that back. 4.5. So it's 1 inch off. So I could trim this one down to inch. Trim a little bit more off of 4.5. That would be by 3.25. Do I want to cut that much off? I think okay, that's gonna look nice. So then I can have it centered there and have something pretty on the front. So Elizabeth went to the 50% off bin, that all the stuff that she needed. That's pretty cool. I have actually not been to Michael's except a couple of times since the lockdown started, and I think all I picked up from there has been my white cardstock. I take that back. I think I did get like maybe 2 paper packs, and I was ashamed of myself because I've been telling you guys that I want to just use what I've got. This was around Halloween, and they had just gotten in some Christmas stuff, and I went ahead and got a couple packs that I didn't have yet. And then, of course, I didn't use them because I'm still trying to use up my old stuff. So you will see quite a few projects this year where I'm using basically every source I can. Okay, TR, when you use that fusible interfacing, I want to see what you do with it. I don't know, are you using it on cards or are you using it for sewing? Okay, let's see if I have better luck with this one. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and put the liquid adhesive on here before trying to add it because I don't want you guys to have to sit here and watch me struggle. I really like the way it looks like I hand did it. I mean, look at that. That looks like it looks like I knew what I was doing. Instead, it's just a stencil. I am not an artist like Miss Elizabeth is. I don't know if you guys saw the card that she that hand watercolored card that she sent me for Christmas. I put a picture of it over in the group, so you guys got to take a look. It's just so pretty. center. Got that nice layer of white matte on that. It's 2. I want to see how that sun is. This one looks like it's pretty much dry on its own. And I love how that turned out. It's a little bit over here that's not quite dry. That'll only take a second or two with the heat gun. That looks really nice. I'm glad I went with those bolder colors. I mean, I could have done with the lighter colors. The more muted. And this I think would look really pretty with the Pearlescent as well. What I may do on the card when I do this one is I spray it with some shimmer spray. That I think would be. See if I've got any sentiments on. Thinking those kind of need a. Well, mostly what I've got happy birthday. So let's say hello, friend. Red left of my like all of those that are already foiled are either silver. Doesn't look quite as good. I think the gold just that one I think go good with hello. Oh, sorry, Tia. I'm sorry, Elizabeth. There, can you see better? So I'm gonna go ahead and add that. That is very. And this one is so that would be kind of perfect for a Valentine's kind of card. I've got a bunch of heart-shaped. I hate it when I rearrange things and then I can't find them again. You guys do that? I mean, I just rearranged a bunch of stuff. Give myself more space and then of course I can't find things. So this is a bunch of little heart-shaped confetti that I got from Target last year. It takes forever to use up because confetti. Use them as embellishment. I'm gonna add a couple of hearts to this guy. As if I didn't. You tried to get surround jewel pick. That looks cute. Another one, I think. This one too. Darker. Red, I probably red. Be so okay, so it's already after 6, guys. You have 2 completed cards, but let's go ahead and grab all of the things, all of the different stenciled backgrounds that I made so that those folks that weren't here for the whole thing can see what we did. These first 2 I'm going to show you are ones that I did prior that I thought this is what gave me the idea to do here. These are my first attempts. And I do not know what the stencils are, but this one I think turned out really nice. The paint is kind of thick, so I didn't water it down much, but the color is real vibrant on it. I did the same kind of thing on here, and I did a little bit of an ombre there with these 2 kitty cats. I thought that was really cute. And then this background is the first one that I made with you guys on this video. This one that's also all these, I think, about the right size to go on slim lines. Probably do that. I am noticing that there's, I'll probably put a sentiment side because it looks like the blues didn't go through as well, which probably didn't have enough color down. And then we've got this guy, which was a cherry blossom, and then we also did this one, a sunburst. I think this one is from Trinity Stamps. I will look up what brands and titles and stuff I can find for the different stencils that I used and put that down in the description. But I think that's going to finish it up for this video. I've got to go put some food on, and I will see you guys. I think I'll see you guys next Tuesday. I am going to continue to do the live streams on Tuesday nights. And I think I asked you guys before if you wanted me to do them, say, at 5:30 instead of 6, so more of you fun. If it's good with you guys, then I'll go ahead and change the time to 5:30 for next week. I do have a couple more videos coming up this week, including one for New Year's Eve, and then another one is part of the Tailor Make Cards for You team, and that's going to be on Saturday morning. So I will have those up for you at that point. You guys, thank you again for coming by, and thank you for sitting with me through the technical difficulties at the beginning. And you guys were watercoloring with me, which you know is what I really want you to do. Go ahead and share what you did over in the Facebook group, Crafting with Debbie, and let us see what you made. I will talk to you guys later, and have a wonderful New Year's. Thanks, guys.